Our abilities to create, to make art, is a gift. And it's a gift that we can give to other people. That's one of the things we have to ask ourselves as artists is, what can we do to make the world a better place? How can we use our art to help others? That's what we're going to discuss this week with Prashant Miranda, who devotes a large part of his time to using his art to help those in need. He's going to tell us about that today. Hi, Prashant.
Hello, Danny. How are you?
Good, thank you. So, Prashant, you are back in India now, and you've been there for a little while, and you have been working on an interesting project for years, and it has connections to your sketchbook, and it's part of, to me, an interesting question that we've been discussing with several people, which is how can you use your art to help other people? So, how do you do that?
Hmm. One of the ways, and this comes to mind immediately, is because I've been volunteering with an organization called World Literacy Canada. And what they do is they raise funds in Canada for literacy programs in India, in and around Varanasi. And they sent me there. Well, I got involved first by designing posters and flyers for events in Canada, fundraising events. And it was fun because I'd end up doing a poster for a Margaret Atwood book launch or a Deepa Mehta film screening or, any such thing, an event that they were doing. And of course, doodles from my sketchbooks would translate into the posters. It was an immediate kind of creative visual association. But in 2005, they sent me to go and volunteer with the women and children there in Varanasi. And it's purely to teach women and children to read and write. And empower them. And while I was there, I realized, okay, literacy is not just about reading and writing. It's also about social enterprise, teaching them to have some kind of sustainable income, advocacy to know what their rights are, health and sanitation. I mean, all these things. And then I got involved because while in design school, I focused on animation film design, but I loved going down to the looms and working in the textile department. I loved going to the ceramic studio and throwing a pot. There were all these things I loved to do. And I think that's influenced me too, that I took some of the designs that I was working on and translated them into products that the women in the sewing program could make. And it was a wonderful thing for me to see a translation from one medium to the next. But I'd seen this before also in animation because I would draw these character designs that were made into puppets, and then these little drawings were not only made three-dimensional, but then they were made to move and come to life, which blew my mind. So in the process of working with these women, they also started, making stuffed toys with. Eventually, my first children's book was done as a fundraiser for World Literacy Canada. The book is called Birdie Num Num, about a hungry little bird. And the only person who actually helps the bird is a little mouse, a chuha, which he made as a Gandhi mouse in a march for justice, and made two little stuffed toys of a birdie and a mouse that was also part of the package. And, by selling these books, we raised a lot of money that went back into spreading awareness into literacy and education for women and children in the villages in India. And now, over 12 years, I've just seen what an impact it's made. It's transformed many people's lives. And I love the fact that it can be done through art, through drawings, through sketchbooks, and that translation is quite wonderful.
And what is your feeling about using your gifts that way? Using your talent to help people. Do you have some thoughts about that? And do you think that that's the role of the artist in a way?
For me, I think in 2007, I made a 5-year plan in my sketchbook. And there were three things in it. But one of it was to continue my art in conjunction with service and meditation. Well, meditation for one, because I can definitely say 12 years ago I was an angst-ridden young man, and uh, there was so much. It may have not shown on my countenance, but there was a lot inside that I needed to release. And I knew, okay, I've got to practice being more peaceful. And I think sketchbook keeping, which I've talked about in my class, has definitely become a meditative activity for me. And painting in that way has enhanced my sensibility of peace. But service for sure was an important thing for me too. Because I realized, by helping, by sharing your talents or your work, it comes back in so many other ways that are beyond comprehension. And that's for certain. I mean, I've realized over the years, it doesn't feel like there are tangible rewards immediately, but it feels like soul food, and it's really come back in such beautiful ways, in so many ways, that I feel it is a necessary part. I can speak for myself. It's definitely a necessary part of my life as an artist.